What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? It's your host, Ghost, here, and I'm joined with.
Specialist. How's it going, guys?
And you are watching the Tough Shit Podcast, the only podcast where we speak our mind, and if you don't like it, well,
Shit.
exactly. Today's topics, we are talking, as always, we talk about topics that most people don't even like to touch. Today's topic is censorship, aka cancel culture, and everything else associated with it. So, let's hop right into censorship. What I don't understand about the censorship laws nowadays is this. So, if you want to have a TV program and you want to be on TV, I understand you have to be censored, right? But now we're censoring our internet videos and everything else like that I feel shouldn't be censored at all. But we have to legally censor them now. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think people should be censoring their YouTube videos, or would you rather see raw how the world is and not
I think that entirely depends on
on the situation?
your basis. So at least the capita of individual that's on there. Say you've got a bunch of kids. Okay.
Right.
Don't show titties. Don't show nudity.
Right.
Don't.
Yeah,
You
true
know.
that. Yes, I understand
But
that. Yeah.
at the same time, there are other people on here that want to speak their mind. So say you can censor certain things on YouTube. There are like sensitive content warnings and stuff like that. You have to be 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why we still have that and we're still censoring certain things? Granted, yes, any kid can go, I'm 18. It's not that
Yeah.
hard. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the parent's choice for letting them get on the
Well,
computer.
then all liability should be once that kid clicks into it, the liability is then on the kid and the parent. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the individual creating the content, because if there was a warning on that content,
Yes.
you were already given fair warning. Your parents can always censor your computer. They can prevent you from getting on websites, anything. So
Hmm.
the fact that you still need to block certain content, I think, is bullshit, and it's a way to control and manipulate your culture. So say, well, the government controls everything. They control the media, which is why Democrats and Republicans can throw all these fucking ads on YouTube.
Hmm.
Anytime you play your little phone games or whatever, you've got public ads coming on like, "Hey, Donald Trump did this," or
Right.
or the one that's been pissing me off the most is the Biden healthcare act.
Yeah.
That was pissing me off because every time I go to play my game, he pops up and his old cop ass on his fucking mask, and he does wonderful things with healthcare. But I think they're manipulating individuals to becoming a lot more closed-minded.
I agree with you there. Well, because the thing that gets under my skin is I understand, like you were saying, censoring content based around a demographic, because that makes sense. You know, if you're a Nickelodeon, you're not going to be having Girls Gone Wild on Nickelodeon playing. You know what I mean? It's just not the right
No.
demographic. But I understand that. But I'm saying, like, for YouTube to be kicking not players, kicking uh creators off their platform for talking about COVID-19 or saying the word coronavirus in their videos and getting them demonetized, that's a little far, I think. I think that's pushing past what um, free speech allows. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think that's egregious. They should not be doing that.
Well, the thing is about big platforms like YouTube, who we're going through now,
Yep.
aren't necessarily based in the U.S., which it isn't.
True.
So you have to abide where at least the censorship laws don't necessarily carry over from here as they do other countries as well. So I'm not 100% on YouTube's censorship and everything else, but I really think we're turning into a very malleable populace. We got nothing as far as
And the other problem is everyone gets so offended by everything. The
mm,
littlest thing can make someone like want to go shoot somebody, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, what happened to common sense and decency? Like, when did we just snap
well,
off to being so vital?
I think a lot of it happens in our generation. There's so many precautions taken for idiots
Hmm.
nowadays. Like if you don't have caution, coffee is hot. After you add, you know, you
Yeah.
give them
Then.
from like say McDonald's or something.
Hmm.
If you don't have that warning on there and they burn themselves, they can sue you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's there's so many precautions. So the whole Darwinism thing got taken out. Like back in the day, like the day of my grandpa or
Right.
his grandpa, if you didn't have common sense, you were gonna die.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
It's true. Yeah. It's true.
if you're working on a loading dock with heavy machinery and you've never worked on it before and you just shove your fucking hand somewhere where it's not supposed to go, you're gonna get ripped up in the air and you're dead.
Well, see,
like,
that's another thing as well. Like every job I've ever been to, they've literally had a like 5 to 10 minute video just to explain how to use a ladder at every job I've ever been to.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, what? What? It's
When
literally
did
like, make sure the ladder's secure. Don't
right.
don't don't sit on the ladder. Like
You
who's
have
doing these
to
things?
contact. Like, well, I'm not gonna say like they're there for a reason. Somebody's fucked up.
Right.
I truthfully think that it should happen. Like, I think they should take the warnings off and let God sort them out. If
Like
they're,
God sort of.
because there are people on this world that are that dumb.
Oh,
Actually,
they
there's
are.
a
Yeah.
few of them, especially
There's
where
some
I live.
that are even dumber. There's some that are so dumb, like
I don't know. Well, I work with somebody. I'm not gonna drop
yeah,
names,
no
but
name, don't do names on this section.
but what I'm saying is like there are the shit that comes out of her mouth. You'll sit there and go, "Why? How did you make it this far with two kids?" Like it's fucking mortifying.
Yep.
And the fact that you reproduced, I hope your husband was smarter, and then it turns out he's still in jail.
Actually, that's a good point to make. Um, Maybe that's a part of the problem as well. Is a lot of the people that are smart aren't having kids because they are smart. They want to make money and they want to be successful and they want to live their life and travel and do all this other stuff. And then the ones that don't have ambition or any skills, they end up just having kids.
Well, that's a default for a lot of
For human beings, kind
well,
of.
yeah, in general, because
Yeah.
if a mother can't get a good job, she's gonna get that dude that she met. They're gonna have a kid, and vice versa. If there's a rich, if there's a rich woman and some dude hooks up with her, he's gonna try to get her pregnant.
Yeah.
So I mean, and depending on the state laws, that could go to your benefit. You're stuck with
Right.
that person. So yeah, I do think that has a lot to do with it. And I'm not saying you're born inherently dumb,
Right. Right.
but you're a product of your upbringing. So if
And then
you're
actually, I want to define what I consider dumb before people says like, oh, you don't know any better. Well, who you calling dumb? First off, dumb is when you know better and you can do better, but you choose not to. That's dumb. That's what I consider dumb. You get what I'm saying? When you know you can do better, but you mentally make the decision not to, that's when you go from smart to dumb. That's the difference.
yeah, yeah, in a very simplistic way, I would agree that that defines them. Well, there are also things where you can look someone in the eye and know they don't have the mental capacity, and they're
Yeah.
not mentally handicapped. They're just stupid.
Yeah.
As I was saying, there's one chick that I work. Well, there's many, but one that stands out to me because she's blind. And I'll sit there and go, "Why would you do that? You knew that was wrong.
Mhm.
Why? Why the fuck do you continuously make this mistake and make me come over here? Or you sat here for 4 months before I
Hmm.
even got here line now? This was your job. So you're lazy. And you're
That's
choosing.
another. That right there is the other word. Lazy is the other problem. If you're not dumb, you're probably lazy, and those are the two main problems that everybody, at least every job I've ever, like I've worked like 3 different places now the past 2 weeks, and every single place I've been, they're either all, not all, there's like one or two good workers at every place I find, but everyone else is either lazy or just dumb. And and it's everywhere. I can't, like, it's not just one spot, it's every single place. And I
And I'm
cannot figure it out.
seeing that I have become a resident in Florida, the Florida man thing is no joke. And there are so many stupid fucking people here. You can't go anywhere. You can't even go to. Now I'm not even gonna say Walmart because that's where the weird fuckers go at 2 o'clock in the morning. But you can't go anywhere. You can't even go to a mall without seeing an idiot,
Right.
even behind the wheel of a car. Some people shouldn't even have the right to drive.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Like how you continuously pass a driver's exam.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm like, who did you pay off?
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. Like, even just like you see these idiots with kids, and you're just sitting there like, how do they even raise them? I don't understand how they even like.
Didn't raise them. A lot of them come from putting them in front of a TV. That's your
Yeah.
education. You got a computer program you can learn, which is really fucked up because 80% of the kids are still doing the computer learning. You think
Yeah.
those teachers give a shit when you're on a computer? Maybe a couple out of every system will care and will go out of their way. But 90% of those fucking students aren't going to come through with anything because all you have to do, if you have a modicum of intelligence, is close that window out, go to Google, and find the answers.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
You're not
exactly
learning, you're just
copying
filling,
and pasting. Yeah.
fill in the blank. Which,
Yeah.
if
But we
I was
did. I mean, I'm not gonna
if
lie. I
I
did
was
that.
if I was today, like I'd be doing that. Like
Actually, I'm gonna go back to a high school story. I used to love when we'd have tests on the computers, because and they would always say, "Don't minimize it." I would always go to Google, always, and I would cheat every time on those computer tests because it's so
mm-hmm.
simple. No one's watching. Like, they can't see
No,
your screen. They say they can, but they don't. They don't watch them.
and even if they do, they don't care enough. They're not making enough money to give a shit if you're learning or if you're just fucking filling in the blank. In fact, most teachers in the U.S. get fucking pay for whoever passes the most tests or gets the highest
Yeah.
GPA. And
Yep.
so, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
It's true.
I, that's a modicum of I've taken from the military. That's what I was first told. It doesn't matter how you get to A to B, as long as you get A to B. And if you're
Yeah,
not cheating, you're not fucking trying.
it's true.
True.
Yeah.
If you do it physically or mentally without assistance, go for it.
Yeah.
But if you can't,
Do what
uh,
you got to do.
do what you got to do. That's right.
Survival of the fittest.
Right. So
That means you're not dumb. That means you're
you utilize
you're at least
you
trying.
utilize the tools, or you
Yes.
even out of the box.
Yep.
But you'll sit there and look at kids that have no fucking clue. When they hit a roadblock, they stop.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they're just like, I don't know
Yep.
what to do. I don't know. I don't know where to go. Well, now here's another thing, and this is where massive censorship comes from. Most communist states, such as China, North Korea, Russia, was. I don't know if they still are. I'm kind
Yeah,
of confused.
I believe they are kind of.
But regardless, if you've seen what censorship does, it makes zombies.
It does. Well, it makes obedient sheep is what it makes, and
Well,
kind of
look,
their goal.
look what's happening. Look what's
Yep.
happening. I'm not saying there weren't dumb people before, but there's a shit ton more now.
Yep.
Like,
Well, and the reason governments like to keep their people dumb, it's very simple. If you keep your people stupid, then no matter what science you show them, they're going to believe it, even if it is real or doesn't make sense. They're going to believe it. So let's say in 20 years' time, they get everyone really, really stupid. And then the government's like, if you drink bottled water, cures cancer. And everyone's like buying bottled water. And like, let's say the government has like a stake in this company to make billions of dollars. That's what they would use it for. They would use it for their own benefit.
Right now, if you look at the
Yeah,
pharmacy, it's the same way. I'm gonna go somewhere different and piss off another group of people
sure.
and say the flat earthers are definitely one of those.
Oh yeah, dude. There's no way the Earth is flat. It doesn't make any
What gets
sense.
me fucked up the most is you can look being on the ocean, even on a big lake, you can
Yeah.
see the Earth. You mean to tell me the Earth is flat when I can look on the horizon and
And
see
see it.
it? Not
Yeah.
to mention, we've got millions of satellites up in
Yeah.
space
Already
that
in space.
rotate
Yeah.
around the world.
Yep.
We spied on Russia from satellites. We spied on almost every country with
Well, on top
satellites.
of that, we've already had sailors sail all the way around the world, the whole world, a couple times.
And and you know what's scary? It's people with money,
Yeah.
with influence,
Yep.
like serious fucking influence on this planet
Yep.
that still believe that. I don't know if it's a ploy for attention, but there are genuinely people that believe
There
it.
are there are there are true flat earthers for sure. I've met a few that have
But
adamant that it's real, and it's like, are you serious?
right. And then you
Just
look
doesn't
at
make
like
sense.
and then you look at some of these fucking famous people that go out of their way to just live a flamboyant life, like the Scientologist, so Tom Cruise, which
Tom Cruise. Yep.
maybe that motherfucker doesn't say shit about Scientology
Yeah.
outside. That motherfucker genuinely believes in some shit like that.
Yeah.
But far be it from me. That's a religion. I'm not going to say
Okay.
about
Oh,
mainly because.
sign. Okay. I'm a. Okay, then I'll take this one. I'll take this one.
All right.
First off, Scientology is not a religion. It is based off a story from J.R.R. Hubbard. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
He wrote the stories of Cthulhu. He wrote the stories of like all those old time mythological sci-fi stories back in like the 1960s or 70s or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it's not even old. It's like new age writing. And then they read those books and they were like, "Oh my god, how'd this guy come up with monsters like Cthulhu and these demons and like he must have seen something." And then he said, "Oh, I seen something." And then he started pulling them in and he's the one that started it and then it so it's a business, but
You look at the Catholic religion. I guess
yeah,
I'm
oh,
gonna
it's the same
go
way. I
on there.
agree with that.
Fucking, it's a business. And you know what's sad? I guarantee you, what most Christians, Catholics, Lutherans, whatever the fuck you denominate
Yeah,
yourself as, it's not what it was.
right.
Like
Not what the original. Yeah.
the thousands, hundreds of thousands of years
See,
ago. Whatever.
that's why I always keep it simple, man. Just believe in a creator. We don't know what its name is or who it is, but someone, something, somewhere created us, the
Well,
world.
I think our perception of creation as a human being will never match up to the real thing. So stop
Oh
trying.
no. Yeah, not even no.
Now, don't get me wrong. There are definitely pros to having a religion and having a society base their whole morals off of religion, because every
Yeah.
religion does, it frowns upon murder.
Yeah.
We went across the fucking continents and murdered millions of people because we didn't believe in what we believed in.
Actually, I want to say this to you about the 10 commandments. I heard a theory yesterday. No, it wasn't yesterday, 2 days ago. That the 10 commandments were created by the church, not by Moses or God, created by the church so they can forgive themselves for the stuff they were doing.
No, they ought to. No, because the Ten Commandments were in the Bible before the Catholic Church became the Catholic Church, like what we know as today. However, I do believe somebody came up with those, which thank God.
Right.
But at the same time, during the Crusades, the Catholic Church rarely admitted the fact that they just said, "Oh, you're forgiven."
Yeah.
Like no shit. Okay, well, yeah, you're murdering for somebody that. But we do that today. Like
Yeah.
we continuously do that today. At least we don't try to hide our. They wanted land. They wanted
Yeah.
money. They
Yeah.
wanted to grow. It's a business. It's nothing but a business.
Oh yeah,
Instead
that's
of
all it is.
belief, which if you ever seen a true business owner, like that's his life.
Yeah.
So
Well, and the other problem is if the church truly had the 10 commandments, don't you think God would have said something about pedophilia?
yeah,
Don't you
yeah,
think that would have been in there?
yeah,
No, the church decided to not write that one down. So
yeah.
just dropping that in there. We all know it's a big problem in the church and it hasn't changed. So that's why I'm not a church supporter. If you believe in God, support God. Don't support the church. I mean, that's all I can say. Don't give him your money. He doesn't want your money. He doesn't want your goods. He wants your soul. He wants you to, he wants you to have faith. That's what he wants from you. So that's my understanding of it, and that's how I live my life. Um,
Right.
so
Back on
yep,
the ship, which the Catholic Church censored an entire race essentially. So I
right.
mean, too.
The Catholic Church censored any religion that wasn't theirs.
Right.
There was
Well,
the Crusades. They just went through and wiped out anybody that believed differently.
even though fairly the same, like all around the planet, most religions are very, very similar. They just had a different name.
Yep.
And that was, and instead of being open to that,
Well, and
it's
that's the other thing I don't get is when Christians are like, "Oh, don't you remember they killed Christians for their faith?" And I'm thinking, "Don't you know Christians killed a lot of people for their faith? You know how many people we probably burned because we thought they were witches?"
yeah, yeah, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, little girls and mothers and
They didn't care. It was just well, the Spanish Inquisition. Look at that. They used the Bible or the commandments as a huge fucking way to just go in and torture entire towns.
yeah,
Like, they during this whole thing, they would fucking like one woman would accuse another woman of cheating on her husband just so
yeah,
she could get the guy. Like
yeah. That's what they would do, and they'd stone each other, and yeah, it was
worse,
horrible.
came up with interesting ways of murder, like the Ripper
Yeah,
and
yep,
just fucking horrific ways. Impaling people on stakes while they were alive, just letting them fucking slowly run down the stake.
yep. That's what they used to do, man.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Now I
But
want to hear somebody bitch about living today when you don't have to worry about somebody
yeah,
coming into your.
exactly. Like that's what I don't get, man.
That's
People are
offensive.
like,
That's what truth fears like. Just because you don't meet a deadline one day and you're offended, you gotta fucking rip your whole entire city apart because one person got fucking killed. I
yeah,
get, don't get me wrong. That dickhead deserved it. Not the guy that got murdered.
yeah,
The cop deserved a
yes,
lot,
yeah,
and he's getting.
yeah,
However, did you see what ripping the whole fucking time, whole
yeah. It
city got?
does nothing. Yeah,
It
it
got
doesn't do
to
anything.
a lot more taxes.
Yep,
They got to fix that.
yep.
So I mean,
So the point we're making is, guys, 2020, quit being babies. Quit freaking whining about everything. Life was a lot worse back in the day. Like when we say a lot worse, we mean like people knocking at your door with swords, rushing in and like pulling you out and stabbing you 15 times and then leaving.
life. Stop, stop requiring people to hold your hand through life. That's another thing. All these fucking, oh, we're gonna sue you if you don't have such and such labels, or
Yeah.
sometimes
Yep.
you need to make your mistakes to learn.
We need
If
to
you,
have accountability for our own actions,
well,
for one.
yeah, one and two, you need to make mistakes. That's how you learn.
Yeah, that's how you learn. Yeah. Yep.
Sometimes somebody's gonna lose a fucking hand in a mistake. that
And
you
the other
can't
thing is,
again.
remember, if you find something offensive, someone else doesn't. So don't try to push your beliefs on them because they're not pushing their beliefs on you. So why? Why try? Doesn't make
Think of
any sense.
two fucking lanes. You can walk away from the entire situation instead of
Yes.
bullshit ass fucking views. It's America. You should be able to say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to say it, people might not like it. You might get punched in the mouth,
Yeah, but you're still alive. You're still alive.
right? Like,
You ain't dead. You ain't dead.
I mean, there's a difference between people intentionally being offensive and people speaking.
Yes. Yes. I
And
agree
if you
with that.
distinguish between those two, you can walk the fuck away.
Yes.
That's it. Simple.
And like I have friends that I don't agree with their views, but we're still friends. I'm not ever going to not be friends with them because they view something differently than me. I don't understand how people can't accept that as a
Right.
real part of life.
That's the beautiful thing about the world and
Yeah.
human is we're all different.
Yeah.
We all view life differently. We all have different experiences, and if you
All
can't
different backgrounds. Yeah.
find
Everything.
that, you have an issue that you need to resolve, not the other person.
Right. Exactly. All right, guys. I think that's going to be the end of this one. That was censorship. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. This one actually turned out pretty good. This is kind of a
Yeah,
good conversation.
I was skeptical.
So, guys, remember to keep it right here on Laugh Your Brains Out. Thank you for watching the Tough Shit podcast. Remember, if you don't like everything you heard, well,
Tough shit.
tough shit. I've been your host, Ghost, joined with.
Specialist. Have a good night, guys.
Till next time, guys. Adios.